Get it going, get it. All right. Good morning. That was me stalling before I hit record, but my co-host is like, no, we're starting now. So, but welcome to our Tuesday night training, everybody. Jesse McPherson coming at you live here on this beautiful Wednesday for me from the Philippines. So I am actually up in La Union or San Juan, which is about a 4-hour-ish drive north from Manila, up in a beach city that is very well known for surfing. And I know what you're thinking. I'm a white boy from California. So I must be into that. And the answer would be no, actually. Definitely not on my list of things that I added to my life. I became a hip hop dancer slash network marketer. Yeah, I know. But it is a beautiful city. We are here at our Airbnb, and family's out for a little walk before Phoenix's nap, and then we're heading up to a place called Baguio, which is up in the mountains, which is like these beautiful pine trees, and it is very Christmas. If you have not been to the Philippines or know anything about the Philippines celebrate Christmas year round, but they go extraordinary during the Burr months. I don't know if you guys know this. So Philippines and the Christmas is any month that ends in a burr. So October, November, December. So as soon as you hit a burr month, right? So it actually starts in my birth month of September is when they kick off Christmas here. It is a spectacle. So we'll show you guys some amazing things. And as we go into these last couple of weeks here of 2024 and come out the other end here, I wanted to make sure and prepare you guys for a few different things here that I think are important. The first part of this we're going to go over is a little bit tactical today. Then the second part of this is really is setting up your 2024. So, or technically your 2025 here, closing out 2024. As you guys know, as we go into the New Year's is the time where people start reflecting. They start reflecting over their lives and what they want to be better or what they want to be different or what they want to be more. And there's this thing called New Year's resolutions, which we know are a load of BS. We know. But there is, at least it's a step. I don't even know if it's a step. Maybe it's even a thought in the right direction of goal setting. So I don't want to completely crap on it because at least it's something. It's something to work with off of. But what we want to realize is this: there's a difference between goal setting and goal achieving. And I have found over the course of my life, this is an area of learning as a skill, not a idea, not as a thought, but truly, really mastering the goal setting and goal achieving process. And over the course of the next few weeks, we are going to take you through a series of events between tonight and the next 2 Tuesdays. All right, next 2 Tuesdays that are going to be going through a kind of a process, a development process that I have learned over the past 22 years that I did not make up. I stole it from the greats of this industry and the greats in terms of the goal setting and the personal development worlds that has allowed me to manifest so many things in my life that were really through these action steps of learning this process. Now, how you get good at something generally is you're bad at it at first. So don't worry about being, if you feel like, man, I've done this before, I've set goals and I haven't achieved them. And this is a normal part of the process of learning how to discipline your disappointments, but also understanding the process of how do I really set something that I know is an actionable plan that's achievable inside of the kind of the realm of possibility, because there's a difference between having your kind of vision statement, your master dream list, so to speak, and your actual action plan and your goal setting, and learning how to go out there and have your turning your months into or your year into productive months, and turning your productive months into productive weeks, and turning your productive weeks into stellar days. Because really how you win your year is you have to learn how to win your day. And learning how to plan your day before you start your day, and learning how to have those small pieces of wins. As they say, it's not 365 apples on New Year's. It's an apple a day keeps the doctor away. There are small, simple things that if you do will radically improve the direction of your goals. And as the late, great Jim Rohn would always say, you cannot change destination overnight, but you can change direction. And what we want to do is teach everybody how to set a better sail this year than last year, today than yesterday. And obviously, we want you to be set up as this kind of tidal wave of momentum comes in 2025. We want your boat and your sail to be set in an amazing direction. Ooh, look at that, David Bird. I love the shirt. So welcome, guys. So my name is Jesse. If we haven't met yet, I am blessed to have been a part of this amazing community since kind of the birth and genesis of this idea of creating the world's greatest membership and the vision of creating a wealthy global community that serves the world. And kind of my little motto that I like saying is the world is our playground and love will be our legacy. Our goal is to leave people better than we find them and also leave this earth better than we found it. And one of the ways that we can do that in building this amazing community and opportunity and creating wealth. Now, wealth for people is different in different areas. Some of it's through the wealth experience, wealth of family. But, you know, and some people say, well, money isn't everything. Very true, not everything, but it ranks right up there with oxygen, as some would say. It determines a lot. It determines a lot of things out there. But it also is as important as the other areas. And we want to make sure that we kind of have a holistic approach in this. Now, that being said, there are moments in your time in your life where you might find yourself a little unbalanced while you're going after one or the other. And this is a normal process that people are going to go through where they're like, well, I got to have balance. And I was like, well, you know, I found it easier to have balance when you don't have to worry about paying your bills. I have found that in my life. So it's a little bit difficult to be balanced when one is so far off where we're trying to play catch up in so many different areas. So we're going to go through this over these next few weeks, and I'm going to start that process here tonight, and I'm going to give you guys a few homework assignments. I know, not exactly what many of you thought you were going to have to go do here this week, but we're going to call them home play assignments, as my dear mentor Sherry Sharman taught me many, many moons ago. So because it's not really work, this is an opportunity to play and be childlike and childish almost in a sense, and remember what it's like when, you know, anything was possible, because that's really where the genesis of this is going to create from. But let's get into some tactical things here and go over a few pieces here from your site and from your back office. So one of the first things here I want to kind of point out to you guys, which will be up, I'm hearing it will go live today. All right. Now, what is going to go live today is one of what I believe is going to be the most amazing experiences in the world of viago in 2025. All right. So we have an event system where we have 3 major events a year. Now, many of you here are on from North America. Obviously, there are people from all over the world that are tuning into this and watching the replay here of our Tuesday night Elite Synergy training. However, we have in 2025 2 events called Playbook. One of them is in North America. The North American event here is in that 3rd weekend of January, which you guys are going to see all those details on our site, which I'm going to give you guys as number 1. The second Playbook event is going to be happening in Dubai. Now, for those of you guys that have never been to Dubai, Habibi, come to Dubai. It is an amazing, amazing place. In fact, I'm going to tell you, it's kind of part of a tee up here. By the way, I'm foreshadowing here a little bit of my closing conversation because I'm going to sandwich this a little bit from my first time in Dubai and why I believe it's going to be one of the trips that I would highly recommend putting into your calendar for 2025. Here's the reason why, is this is one of the first times that we're truly doing a reward escape trip into our Playbook convention. So I'm going to explain this. These are actually 2 separate events that we basically put back to back so you could kind of get it all and experience it all. So what's happening is the European family of viago, the African family of viago, and many of the Asia family of viago is doing a centralized event for all of the rest of the world, so to speak, outside of North and South America, really, to be able to come to this. It is going to be in March, okay? Now, the reward escape trip is March 4th through the 8th, which is Tuesday through Saturday. It's 5 days, 4 nights, okay? Now, we put this on pause in the back office, and the reason why was because we were trying to make sure that we could put the reward escape trip and the convention in the same location because they were originally really far apart, and we wanted to make it more convenient and less travel and expenses, and it was a nicer hotel where the event was. So they are going to put up the reward escape trip for sale today. I thought it was going to go. So by the time, if you're on the East Coast, you wake up, it'll be there in the back office. Or if you stay up a little bit late, you might even see it here late tonight. But by the time you wake up, you guys will be seeing that. By today, I meant my today, which is my Wednesday. So if you don't see it before you go to sleep, by the time you wake up, it will be available. On the 4th, so 4th through the 8th is the reward escape trip. So Tuesday through Saturday. The convention is Saturday, Sunday, which means that you can actually extend instead of a 4 night to a 6 night, which would then have you checking out Monday. So that way you have the reward escape trip to Dubai and then a 2-day event, right? Now, where is all of this located? Well, let me take you guys a look through it. If you haven't got a chance to peer into your new Club Viago membership site. Now, we have two different websites here. We have our Club Viago membership site for our members, and then you have your Viago direct site, which is for our ambassadors, right? That's the business side of Viago. Now, once you log in here, as you guys know, as we have been live inside of this environment now for basically 14 days. So we have a 2-week-old infant baby here called Viago that's looking pretty darn good. Now, every single day, there are added and updates and things that are being added to this. And especially as we've transitioned from our old environment, which had a lot of data and a lot of information into it, into our new environment. So thank you for being patient with us as we've been getting some of those things working for you guys. But on this side of it, when you log in, obviously you're going to see from our home, our travel, and the different areas of our partnerships that you can see here, your accounts and your points and all of that stuff. When you scroll down, you're going to have your online booking engine, which we're going to have these tutorial videos and all these things that are coming for you. Then we have the escape your ways. These are the ones where you kind of get a pick. This is where you have specific destinations with date ranges where you can kind of go take a group of people. It could be small or not. And then we have our reward escape trips. These are the ones that you can use your Viago points to even further reduce the cost of these trips. So when you get into here, one of the big ones that's coming up that we have is in Bali, another one, which is a long one. It's a 9-nighter, but check this out. So literally from points, you can literally get it down to $767 per person, double occupancy for 9 nights. That's insane. When now this event obviously sold out, it's 5-star resort here. This is the trip that is going to go live. Right here is the Bali reward escape trip. I'm sorry, the Dubai reward escape trip. So this is one of those places that you're going to want to get. Now, all the Europeans, all the Africans, the Asians, so here in Viago, so are going to be really looking to book this trip. If you want to come with us and experience this, use some of your points and get over there, I would highly recommend getting on top of this one. They also just loaded this one, which is the following month in April, which is in Vietnam. This is at an all-inclusive 5 days, 4 nights. I will also be hosting this event. And yes, Phoenix will be at Dubai and at Vietnam, which I know for many of you is much more appealing than me being there. I understand. We are putting the bids in right now for who would like to pay us to babysit her. Just, I mean, the going rate is $100 a day. So if you can top that, we will let you. But check this going out, guys. Egypt. That's right, baby. Just got loaded. So in here in your back office, the fives, obviously, which we just had an incredible trip from our reward escape trip down there. And then we've got Playa Morales. So we've got more places down there in South America and Phuket. This is another huge one that's coming up with another new location where under $500 for 5 days, 4 nights in Phuket, Thailand at another location. So, and then Victoria Falls, if you guys want to go experience this. Now, this is one of those that's on my bucket list for a long period of time. So my hardest problem that I'm experiencing is trying to choose which places that I'm going to have an opportunity to go to. And we are just getting started. So guys, remember, this is the very beginning. So having an opportunity for people to be able to book these, this is where they're going to be able to get this. This is our product that we're being able to market. Now, where you're going to find the most up-to-date information on all of this stuff here is on our system site, which is Elite Synergy System, where you can book the hotels, where you're going to get the getting started videos, getting connected to our WhatsApp, our inner circle, our Facebook groups, all that stuff. Also, our quick coaching, our training, our presentations, our documents, all of that stuff is pretty darn amazing, okay? Not only that, but we have some new AI technology that we have been testing out that has been working incredibly well, right? So, and some of you guys have seen this. Matt Morris put together an incredible compensation plan video. Muzaffar put together an incredible detailed compensation plan video. And so we've got all these different pieces and trainings. And one of the things that has been, I would say, challenging as a global system is being able to service every language from around the world. What's crazy now is this, I asked Matt if he could, just brush up on his Swedish, And he was like, sure, no problem, you know. So we literally have, that's right, we've got Matt Morris, you know, doing the presentation now. If you guys want to see this, this is absolutely wild. So here we go. Let's take a look. How does he sound in Swedish?
Nätverksmarknadsföring i 30. Jag har haft turen att bygga team med över 2,5 miljoner människor. Team har genererat över 3 miljarder dollar i försäljning. Jag har rest till 84... Hej, Matt Morris här, Red Diamond i Viago. Och i den här snabba videon kommer jag att gå igenom en kort översikt av vår kompensationsplan så att du kan förstå hur den fungerar.
So we've got the presentation in Swedish. And you just say, well, but what if I wanted in Italian, right? I'd like to have the presentation in Italian. Oh yeah, you know what? How about this? No problem. We've got Matt in...
Ciao, sono Matt Morris, il tuo amico che ti ha chiesto di guardare questo video, è un mio partner commerciale. Ci sta aiutando a lanciare un nuovo concetto nel settore dei viaggi che si è già diffuso in oltre 60 paesi nel mondo.
Oh my gosh. Well, what about, you know, what other languages does Matt Morris speak? And the answer would surprise you. We have right now, over the course of this next week, you're going to be able to see our presentations, our trainings, our push plays, our compensation plans, our tutorial videos that are going to be translated. We've got it in, you name it, Romanian, Hungarian, Swedish, Norwegian, Spanish, Japanese. He sounds really cool in Mandarin, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. Korean, we have him in Vietnamese. It is amazing. And what's crazy with this new technology is the fact that, is it 100%? No, but it is pretty darn close. And it's just getting better and better and better. So one of the things we're letting you guys know here as our Elite Synergy Systems is you're seeing these things starting getting added and built together. You're just going to see more and more and more value, because the goal here is this, is we cannot take away with the true essence of the business. Our business is a relationship business. So is connecting, getting with people. People are going to, they want to be in business with you. You want to invite them to come experience this. But at the same time, we want to show people really how using these tools and is going to be able to speed up their business. So this is where you're going to find our documents, our presentations. If you haven't downloaded it, our updated slides and push plays, everything here on our site. Now, let's take a quick gander into the back office, right? Now, obviously, if you guys have been noticing, almost every time that you log in, there's something being updated. There's something being enhanced, right? Now, part of it is because as we're in our new environment, some of the things here are requiring us to recode them in order for us to be able to display things in a simpler format for you is one of those things, right? And as our point system, and many of us are learning out this new point system and all these pieces are working, okay? So these are things that are going to be really important, and you're going to get some great tutorials on this and some great videos on this, right? Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time here because there's no people in your back office to enroll. So in other words, it's interesting. A lot of people inside of their back office, what they find is that there's not as much money to make there. In the very beginning, we want to focus on one thing and one thing only, which is your Get 6. That is your whole program, Get 6. Let's close the month at 6 and get as many people to 6 as humanly possible, okay? All right, but once you're on here, it's going to ask you to set up your profile. Now, under your profile, you want to make sure and verify that all of your information is correct, right? So your personal information, your address, obviously any of your notifications. If you do get an error somewhere with this, right? So just go ahead and refresh the page and you should be good on this, as obviously we've got our thousands and thousands of new accounts that are coming into this. The next thing here is your Viago Pay. Now, what we want you guys to know is this Friday, okay, we are going to be paying everybody in our new payment platform called Viago Pay. So if you have not registered for your Viago Pay account, you definitely want to go ahead and do that. I'm actually filming a tutorial video today for you guys on this that's going to walk you through every process of it so you guys can understand every piece of this. Now, here's the thing. If you don't set up your Viago Pay by Friday, your commissions don't disappear. They're still yours. As soon as you set up your Viago Pay, you will be able to access them. All right. So it's just something that we need to set up. Now, this is basically a third-party system that's outside of your Viago Direct. And this is where you guys are going to see everything start to come into this, from the split pay, the different ways, the transfer payment options, and all of that. So, but in there, you want to make sure that you get verified. Right now, when someone joins as an ambassador, we're not verifying any of their information like their social or their tax ID or any of that kind of stuff because they haven't earned a commission yet, right? They're just a ambassador that has the potential for us to earn income. So setting up those details is going to be very important. So if you're waiting for your commission check, if you were in our old system, okay, well, which was called e-wallet or Paylutions or one of those old payment providers we were using before, want to let you know that the check isn't going to come into that. It's going to come into Viago Pay. So you want to make sure you have that set up. Once again, if you haven't set it up, all right, we'll make sure we'll get you that tutorial video. It only takes a few minutes for you to do so, and then you'll be able to access your money through your Viago Pay to transfer it to your bank account or get your new Viago Pay card or your card, however you would like to, and be able to access it. What's great is this, is once you order your Viago Pay card, you don't have to actually wait for the card to come in the mail. You'll have the actual card number you can start utilizing right away for online transactions and things like that. So Viago Pay tutorial video that's coming, your payments, and then your web profile, right? So which is the things on your website and your login, right? So this is going to be your web alias. Obviously, this is where you're sending people for them to first enroll onto your site, right? Now, there's a few different tricks here when we're going through your entire back office system from your dashboard and your reporting system where we're going to be going through these and giving you guys broken down training pieces. So they're going to be 1 to 2 minute clip videos. Honestly, I'm just letting you guys know, I was prepared to have these guys earlier for you, but we are adjusting few of the things that are reading and the data from your back office to make it what we believe is a little bit more intuitive or a little bit more or simplified, I would say. And there is an opportunity to see it simplified. And when you click in, it'll show you more details. So there's kind of the simplified view, and then there's more of the detailed view and some of these widgets, as we would call them, that's pulling out all the data from your organization to basically show you how many members you have left, how many members you have right, how many you have this month, how many you have from last month, what's set to process this week, what's set to process by the end of the month, what counts to qualify you for your ranks, all of those points, your cycles, all of these little widgets, as we would call them, to be able to give you going, hey, here's this, here's what it is, here's how you read it, right? So, because I know some people are like, hey, how does this work? As some of it's new and they're trying to compare apples to apples, and it's really not that. It's like an apple to an orangutan. They're not even in the same category. So we want to make sure you guys understand exactly how the numbers and your details work in your Viago back office. So we'll get a chance to show you this. The one thing here that I do believe that is important here that we're running towards the end of the month is to help you qualify for your next rank. So when you scroll down here, it's going to show you where your current rank qualified is, and it's going to show you what's the requirement to get to that next rank and what it is counting now currently for you to be able to do so. Now, this is also on your left-hand side. When you start taking a look at your business, you can actually see this, right? So, and kind of see your rank progress from the left-hand side as you go into my rank progress, and it shows you what you have and what you need. Now, this is a demo account, so it's not showing you all of those details as it's pulling out here. So these are things where we're going to have more of a, here's a full tutorial on your back end, but here's a breakdown of your individual one. So it'll be very simple for you to go. So no one's going to be like, hey, how does this work? Our goal here is to have a resource for you in Viago here by the end of this month. So that way you can walk into 2025, having to be ready resource. To be the resource, but to be resourceful. And it's one of those things that's wildly important, right? Now, organization in your teams, as you get into this is where you're going to start seeing the data from inside of your tree. So that way you can start looking at your regions and your dates. Now, a few things that we're saying are adjusting, but your order history and your customers and order history, so all that stuff should be here active inside of the back. So as you look into this, now, my number one thing that we're looking at here is, like I said, is to help you guys in getting to your next ranks and getting to your next promotions. The most important thing here on this, honestly, is your web link. And web link in order to sign somebody up. Now, how are we going out there and presenting this? We are updating the new video that's going to be on your Viago Direct website because we were using our pre-launch video. And as you guys know, Eddie did an incredible job on that video with his sultry voice. Time. What does it mean to all of us? You know, right? So I don't know about you. I just think it's just like, it's like captivating. I feel like I'm watching a movie trailer every time I listen to Eddie's voice. So somebody gave me the awesome compliment. They were like, Jesse, you sound so good. I was like, I don't sound like that. So, but I was like, sure, I'll take it. But did a great job on that video. So we're going to be updating that obviously to all of our existing and our new programs. So you guys can see that. Which I think are really important. However, on your what we call your Viago direct site is going to be a place where you'll be able to send somebody where they can watch the video. Currently, right now, your website is going directly to the enrollment. Why? Because that's really what we're using your Viago direct site for right now until we have the new updated presentation on your Viago direct site. So how do we go out there and present this? Well, we have live Zooms happening every day, and live Zooms, and whether you're doing individual presentations, individual one-on-ones, or whether you're doing group presentations or inviting people to Zoom so that way they can see the presentation, and then using if you're using a form from being there from our website, or you're just closing them and getting them, walking them through the enrollment process so they can see all of this. Now, walking them through, one of my favorite things to do when somebody goes, well, what do I get, is go through the website with them. Okay. So, and I want to share with you guys one of the things that I absolutely love when I'm showing somebody some of the details, right? So if I'm looking at some of the value here, I want to show them as much value as I can. So I love when I'm showing them the back office, I'll log into my account and they were like, well, how do I get access? Well, let's get you enrolled. So once they're in here, go show them clubviago.com. Once you're enrolled as a member, this is what you're going to get. This is where you're going to get. This is what you're going to get. Here's one of the most important things is you being scheduled on a trip and inviting them on that trip. I'm going to Dubai. Do you want to come with me? Right? So there's this literally not like, hey, we should go. It's, hey, I'm going with or without you, but I want you to come with me. So this amazing reward escape. Okay. Now, one of the other things that I love to show as a value that they get access to in our membership that has nothing to do with using their points is going to be something underneath the travel side of this when I'm showing them the booking engine. Okay. Now, if you guys haven't dove into this, this is one of those areas that I like showing live because I can show some pretty cool examples. But again, once you figure this out, you're going to be able to show somebody value at this membership. So when somebody says, what do I do at a, somebody sees the live presentation and, they're like, well, how does it all work? They're still trying to, put a value to their monthly membership or a value to their monthly points or where they're going to get value out of it. And what you're trying to do is show them throughout the year. When you're sharing a membership, in my opinion, is this, you're not trying to show how they're going to get value out of every month. You're going to show you how they're going to get value out of every year, because they may not travel once a month. They're obviously going to be buying products once a month, so hopefully they're showering so on a regular basis and using it. But one of my favorite areas in the booking engine when you go into here is obviously we can show them hotels, show me a destination. But if you haven't dove into this, guys, check this out, which are weeks. Okay. What weeks are is where our aggregators over here, what they do is they go find destinations where they can show you guys weeks of places that are incredible deals. So as an example, through our booking engine, I'm just going to choose Arizona because that's where I'm from, right? So I want to choose the state of Arizona and I want to go, let's see, I want to go just next April, my daughter's birthday, so, or whatever, right? And I'm going to choose a date in April and I'm going to choose within 35 days. So it's going to give me kind of a date range and show. I can do an advanced search and dive into this more. But what it's going to do is it's going to find locations where it has the best deals for weeks. Now, why is this a unique search? Is a little bit different than the hotel search, because it includes a lot of times vacation rentals, but it also finds the best deals from that it aggregates from timeshare properties, which are not in the hotel section. This is crazy. I want you guys to see this, right? So this is the Hilton Vacations Club Scottsdale. So I know this property well because I own a timeshare here. It's one of the reasons why I like showing this, because I know what I paid for this and it makes me want to throw up every time I log into this site and I show this, that they can get a week here for about the same as my, monthly maintenance stupid fee. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So for $560, right? For 7 nights you can get at this place, right? How about in Flagstaff, right? But here's some of the crazy ones. I want you guys to take a look here. Hilton Vacation Club in Scottsdale is also another beautiful location. But check this out, Sedona. Sedona for 7 nights for $860. Are you out of your mind? This is one of the most beautiful resorts in Sedona. If you've never been to Sedona, it's insane. So, but we can show this. Now, what I recommend is this. There's more they're all over the place. Okay. So there's these week resorts, but you can even find them weeks. If I wanted to choose something like I found a week in Hawaii that was stupid insane, right? So on different places. Now, I'm usually not letting them normally pick the place necessarily, but I usually preemphasize it and go like, hey, is there ever a place that you wanted to go? I haven't looked there yet, but let's go take a look. Places in all over the world. Look at these different destinations that you can choose as another added value benefit. This is fun. Now, part of the reason why is when people can see live information from them as to how how the membership would work for them is really, 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 really cool. So these are a few things here that I highly recommend when you're sharing the membership or as follow-up to your presentation. Okay. Now, after then presenting this. So these are a few things here that I think are important when it comes to that. Now, I'm going to shift gears here a little bit here because I want to go into preparing us for the next few weeks, right? So, okay, right. And the next few weeks I think are going to be wildly important as we head into the new year. So let's kind of set this up properly. Okay, so when you're going into these next few weeks, I'm going to ask you guys to do something that might seem a little bit strange. Some of you guys have seen this. Some of you guys have heard this. If you've been with me for a few years, I pretty much do this every year. And you're like, again? Yeah. In fact, one of the most important things that we're going to be doing in the course of your career here is learning to master the mundane. I call it being creatively unoriginal. It's just kind of recreating the same thing, right? Of taking something and their old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And there is some truth and power in that because there are kind of rules when it comes to achievement that are science-based rules, meaning if you do something, a good example is if you want to lose weight, there's some pretty good science around that, which is eat less than you burn, eat less calories than you burn in a day. You're gonna go down. It's not a whole lot of magic behind it when you really kind of go through it. Now, there's a few variations, obviously when you take a look at it, but in terms of, but for the most part, eat less, work out. Now, the workout isn't even necessary to losing weight if you guys haven't figured that out yet, right? So it's an important factor that will help. It'll help speed up the process. It'll help you make you feel better, but there's some science behind that, right? So numbers in, numbers out. Okay. Now, when it comes to goal setting, I believe the beginning of the goal setting process, before we break this down to mastering out the goal setting process and mastering that, which I was really fortunate to have an opportunity in my early 20s to go spend some time with a guy named Paul J. Meyer. Now, there's a few people here on the line here that are actually familiar with this individual that are dear friends from Blast from the Past that know Paul J. Meyer because he ran leadership retreats in his place over in Salado, Texas. And I was fortunate enough to be able to qualify for a couple of these leadership retreats in my early 20s and honestly be around a group of people and a level of associations that was pretty abnormal for somebody of my age. And it really elevated me to see a different level of perspective when it came to the goal setting process. And one of the things that Paul Meyer, when he talked about, Paul Meyer was the first billionaire that I ever spent time with. He owned, I don't know, 100 something companies. Word is that he gave over $400 million away while he was alive, and his foundations are still contributing today. An incredible, incredible entrepreneur. And he said, in the goal setting process, so the first thing he started with is he talked about time management. And he said, wrote time management on the board and he crossed it out. And he said, there's no such thing as time management. And everyone was kind of like, well, that's an aggressive start. And I was like, no, the reason why is this. There's no such thing as time management because you can't manage time. You can't bottle it. You can't hold it. You can't keep it. You can't save it. So the only thing you get is personal management because we all have the same amount of time. The idea that you can manage time is like, it's a little weird. It's like looking up at God and saying like, hey, God, I just need more time. And God is looking down being like, there is no more time. Give me more you. And you're like, oh, okay, that's a different perspective. So from this personal management system, and he really talked about the kind of the art of achievement and how that works and that science and that process. And it really broke it down to the idea where you were like, oh, if you follow this system, you can't fail. How many people have a level of confidence in the goal setting process that they could set a goal that they knew they would achieve? Not a lot of people. Most people, when it comes to goal setting, here's what they've got. Here's where they go. They set a goal. What do you want to achieve? I want to go diamond, right? And then the next month they miss diamond, right? Well, what are you going to do? I'm going to go diamond. And they go from convention to convention or event to event or Zoom to Zoom or whatever it is. And they have this lofty goal. And a lot of times they find themselves falling short. Now, they've found themselves falling short for a multitude of reasons. But then what happens is eventually they say, you go from a convention, they're like, what's your goal? And they're like, I'm going diamond. And your brain is like BS. Like it almost kicks it right out. And then eventually people go, well, what's your goal? Well, I'm going to do the best I can. And you see this just like crushing start of a conformity start to come down on people, where what was used to be this enthusiasm and this passion towards setting a goal and running after and achieving something, when it's even brought up as almost kind of like an embarrassment where people will hide from, because people usually get into the mindset where they're like, I don't even want to set a goal on something. I'm just tired of being disappointed. I don't like, so I'm going to do the best I can. And how many of you guys know what? I'm going to try. And we know what that means, right? So, yeah, like every time you hear somebody go, I'm going to try, you're like, like, I just want to, no, like that is not going to get you where we want. But we do. And so my level of love and compassion and empathy for those that have been through this process there, because me too. Now, I will close my eyes, but by show of hands, how many of you guys have ever been guilty of doing this slightly when it comes to your goals, your goal setting? Just kidding. I'm looking at all of you. All right. So if you're not raising your hand, you lie about other things too. Now, if you're one of those people that has set a goal and achieved every goal you've ever hit, piss off, I don't like you. You're just you're not my type. Now, I know that's nobody here. We've all been through this. Now, some people have this unwavering belief and level of confidence. And for you, I guess good for you. You're the exception, you're not the rule. So when it comes to that goal setting process, how do we break that down? That's what the next couple of weeks here are going to be about for you guys. I believe we're going to unlock some magic for you guys here. And if we're lucky, we might even have a few of the guests that taught me this be able to help participate in these goal setting workshops. Because what's interesting is there's a woman on here who did my very first goal setting process and put it on there. So I'm going to give you guys a homework assignment. And your homework assignment here this week is this. It is not an easy one. And I know it's going to sound a little strange, we're going to help you create what we call your master dream list. Okay. Now, what is your master dream list? I want you to write down 100 dream goals. 100. This is your goal for the week. We're going to do something with this. So, okay. And I'm actually going to give you guys, I'm going to type it in the chat box here, my email. My email is jessejmac@gmail.com. Okay. So jessejmac@gmail.com. I would love for you to email it to me when you are done. Now, you can also send it to me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can send it to me anywhere, right? So you can find me everywhere online at jessejmac. So Facebook. So, and send it to me is your master dream list. Now, what is your master dream list? Okay. Your master dream list is this, and we're going to take a few minutes to do this now. For those of you taking notes, I want you guys to do this right now. Okay. So, if you are driving, do not do this. Do this on the recording or do this when you get home. So what is your master dream list is 100 things. Now, 100 things you're going to write down. And when you're going to write these things down, I want you to write down anything you could possibly ever imagine wanting to have, own, do, experience, create, learn, find in the course of your life between now and the next 50 years. Now, some of you guys were like, 50 years? I'm already 60. And I was like, yeah, but the technology that's coming right now, we'll replace that hip, we'll replace that leg, we'll replace that heart. We're fine, So, I mean, look, if you don't see yourself. So here's, by the way, on your master dream list, your first goal is to be healthy and happy at 200. There you go. There's your first one to write down. But I want some of you guys like, that's too long. I don't need that much time. But what we want is write down anything. Now, here's what we're going to do when we're going to do this exercise. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a few different ideas of things to write down as we go through this. And then next Tuesday, I'm going to share with you mine. It is wild. Now, one of the first times I ever did this exercise, a version of this exercise, was Mark Victor Hansen. Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield wrote the best-selling The Chicken Soup for the Soul books and Millionaire Mindset. I can't remember. It's been a minute. Anyway, they read these. So we wrote them. We had to email them into Mark Victor Hansen. And a year later, and then 5 years later, Mark emailed them back to me. Wild. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Leon, hey, what's up, girl? So the 1 Minute Millionaire. So in this, writing down these goals and writing down this process. So I want to give this to you guys here is anything you've ever had wanted to own, do, but you got to take the governor's robe off. I don't want you to come up. This is unrealistic. Now, when we go to the action plan, we have to start from here. We're going to start from your dream list and take your dream list to put it into actionable plans and actionable goals to help you get what you really want. But we got to have the North Star, the guiding light to get you in the right direction. So this is where most people kind of like mess up, and they understand your 10-year vision statement you never hit. Why? Because it's always 10 years in the future. You're never getting towards it. It's your North Star, right? To get you to make sure you're heading in that right direction. But your North Star you need, but you also need the paddle, right? So the old proverb, if there is no wind, you row. But in this concept, when you're building this out and you're building your master dream list, you are not thinking about realistic. Okay. I want you to be like a 7-year-old sitting on Santa's lap. Like anything you ask Santa for will be delivered. Like I want an elephant. Okay, so write it down. Now, some people said that's unrealistic. Well, not if you live in Thailand. I mean, it's not. I mean, some people say, like, I had a dream, I was like, as a kid, I was like, I always wanted to be taller. I'm 5'8". Now, that's pretty average height in America, but I played basketball, so I wanted to be taller because obvious reasons, and that didn't work out for me. And I, gave up on that dream of being taller. And then I moved to the Philippines. Oh, and I'm taller. It is very strange. So I know that's a joke. It's a joke, but it's true. So I do feel tall here. So in all things comparatively speaking. So yeah, it's one of those things where your reality. So one of the things we're going to do is anything. So here's a couple of areas. Your health. What are things you've wanted to learn? Is there new languages you wanted to learn? Places you've wanted to go? Locations you've wanted to visit? Gifts that you've wanted to be able to give. I don't want you to think, people say like, okay, would you want to visit the 7 wonders of the world, right? So what are obviously, many of you, because many of you guys are want to go experience life as you get out there, but all things you wanted to do from your past. Have you ever wanted to retrace your family roots? Right? So is there any languages? Is there an instrument you want to learn? What hobbies have you not been able to do that you wanted to do that you can't because you haven't had the time, money, resources to be able to do so? It's like if I had a magic checkbook and anything I could write a check for, would be paid or delivered, what would you write down? Again, this is not realistic. And people say, well, where would you want your second home? Some people are like, I've never even thought about that. I'm trying to get home number one. Right? I get it. This is not where you're going, okay, how? This is not a how. This is purely from the state of abundance and imagination putting out there. I'm not even saying some of the things you write down you really want, but if it showed up in your life, you wouldn't turn it away. You guys get what I mean, right? So like, I don't really want a boat, but if someone gave me a boat, I would be like, this is cool. Right? So, I got a boat. I'll take a boat, right? Why not? I want a boat. You know what I want? I want a boat. I want a Sea-Doo as well. I want the Sea-Doos, right? So, or the jet skis. Like I want those, right? So what is an experience you want to have? Do you want to ever go skydiving? Do you ever wanted to go to this? Do you want to go to that? Do you want to go whitewater rafting down the Grand Canyon? Did you guys want to go on a pilgrimage go through the Inca Trail through Peru? What are your contributions you want to do? Do you want to set up a foundation? Did you want to be able to, what do you want as your weekend car? A weekend car? Yeah. What do you want your weekend car? You have your family car, you got your date car, you got your, what extra things do you want to get? For me, get the new Tesla motorhomes that Elon Musk is building. Oh, those look crazy. So what do you want to drive? If you could drive anything in the world. So I want you to write this down and create your master dream list. Now, in this getting to 100 for most people is incredibly hard. I know it might sound like it's not that big of a deal, but getting to 100 things, that you would either want or have. This is where most people realize how badly they've turned off their dream machine. They don't If you ask a kid if you could have anything in the world, would you? I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that. I want this. I want like. There's no like this. Like so, And over a period of time, this conformity that ends up hitting in is one of those things that takes people from you got to be realistic. For most people, being realistic is being negative. That's not realistic. So it's common. Just because something is common does not mean that it should be normal. However, a lot of things that are now common have become normal, even though they're not. And I'm like, it shouldn't be normal for an average adult to believe that wanting more and going after more is abnormal. Did you know that most of my friend group told me I was weird for wanting freedom in my life? Like, how is that a weird, for me, I was like, I couldn't grasp that concept. So you're going to write down these goals. You're going to send them to me, right? So, and we're going to go through this process. Now, what we're going to do is through these next 2 weeks, we're going to take this dream list, which we're going to go over to next week. And I'm going to read you my first one. It is going to knock your socks off, right? And the reason why is because the amount of things that happened from my first dream list, and then I'm going to give you the time frames they happened in. Because what you'll find out is most people dramatically overestimate what they can do in a year, but completely underestimate what they can do in 5 to 10. But if you don't start the process now, you're always going to be behind it. So many of you guys started this process with me a few years ago, and you're on your 2, year 3 of doing this. So you're going to start seeing things starting to pop up and kick in right now, as long as you've stayed consistent with the methods. Okay. So master dream list 100. Take the governor's robe off. Anything you ask for could be delivered. I want you to write it down. If it's something you want to experience, learn, a place you want to go, something you want to do with a friend, something you want to do with a family, something you want to have always wanted to do, something where it's like, okay, I want this, I want that. I want a closet full of shoes. I want 100 pairs. I want custom clothing, right? I want a fish tank wall in my house. That was one of the ones that I wanted forever, that was on my original Trip Master dream list, right? So, and anyway, so I'll never forget. I literally got to the end of 99. I couldn't think of a 100th one. I remember my 100th on my dream list. And I wrote down what would be just totally out of this world. And then I was like, meet an alien. I remember, and I was like, I wrote it down. And then I was like, well, what if he's not nice? And then I wrote down meet a friendly alien. That is literally the 100th goal on my dream board list. So, or on my master dream list. So that's wild. So some of you guys are like, you're crazy. You're right. Now, I also had a dream of going to space. Like back in the day, that would have been crazy. But look, I have a feeling I'm going to be in space at some point in my lifetime. So I'm excited about it. Now, some of you guys are like, you've already met an alien. Probably. Yeah, who knows? But let me wrap this up here and kind of share with you, kind of circling back here to where this all started for me, which is Dubai. So going to Dubai, I want to share with you guys about my first trip to Dubai, which was in April of 2008. Okay. Now, this is a very important conversation, so hang tight with me, and I hope that my phone or my computer doesn't die on me before I finish this story. Okay. So 2008. So I just joined a kind of a group of people through a guy named Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins. Many of you guys know him. So he's probably one of the foremost speakers in personal growth and development and psychology and education. And he has a program called Platinum Partners. Now, I went to my first of Tony's event, which was a few $100 to go to, incredible, called UPW, Unleash the Power Within. You walk on fire. It is an incredible event, right? And at that event, he talked about the ultimate peer group. And he had this thing called the Platinum Partnerships. And to join was $60,000. Now, I'm 24 years old. I think I'm 20. I might be 25 at this time. So, and do this. 25 years old. I don't have any college debt. I'm making about 10 grand a month in my network marketing business. So I'm making 6 figures, but I'm like, that is a big chunk of change. Now, but I was like, you know what? I really see myself, this is kind of like my 4 years of education I can do in 1 year. I can go to every event, but more importantly, it wasn't so much the training events. For me, it was the associations. It was like spending a year around all of these incredibly high quality people and high caliber people, because I could get into a circle of people that I could probably never get into in probably any other way for this little of money, rather than the investment that most people would look at of the cost. So anyway, I ended up doing it. Which later I found out that it ended up being a lot more than $60,000. It ended up being, because you had to pay for the trip still. So it ended up being like $120,000. So, but at the kind of the total expenses to do everything that was included in all the events. But you got to do 4 private events a year with this small group of people, which is much bigger now. But back then, I remember I did my first event in Fiji, and there was like 40 of us. So it's Tony and Sage and like 40 or 50 of us in Fiji, which was unfreaking real. That's a story for another time. But then the second event happened to be in April of 2008, April 2008. We were supposed to go to Alaska, and it was supposed to be this nature crazy experience where we were going to go through this thing into the wilderness. And most of the things he was doing was dramatically extreme. And anyway, before everyone booked their flights, they pivoted and they said, guys, we are not going to Alaska. We're going to Dubai. Now, for those of you guys that know, back in 2008, Dubai was not really a place on the map. And so we're like, Dubai? And they're like, yeah. And then we're going to stay at the Burj Al Arab, which is the only 7-star resort in the world, still technically today, right? And so we're like, okay. So for me, I'm like, I'm in. Where are we going? So we fly to Dubai in 2008, and it is an incredible experience. So my first time in Dubai, I'm 20, how old am I now? I'm 26, maybe. So 26, and we get into this room, and it is a conference / we did some extracurricular activities, but for the most part, we were going there for training. Now, what Tony did is he flew in Michael Schmortz, Harry S. Dent, Michael Schmortz, Harry S. Dent, all these financial gurus and advisors, April 2008. And what happened was he started off the entire event talking about seasons. And these seasons that he talked about was winter, summer, spring, and fall. And he said, these are seasons in life, and we all go through them, right? And the different seasons that you're going to experience. And, and he talked about winter, and the importance of winter and how it's coming. And then there was like a small pause, and it was like, winter is coming. And this is April. I want you guys to get this. April 2008. And here's what he said. He had a predictor, and he was like, he had all these financial experts come in, and they basically said, sell everything you own. Everything. Everything. They were like, what are you talking about? A lot of the people in this room were financially wealthy, mostly from real estate. I'm the only kid in there who I've got my little network marketing business, right? So, and I've spent every dollar to be here. I own nothing. So for me, I'm like, what's going on? And people are losing their marbles right now. What do you mean sell everything? Sell everything. Everything. Get rid of it. Sell your house, get out now, get cash, get liquid, get rid of it, get now. Like April 2008. Do you guys remember what happened 6 months later in 2008? So some of you guys are like, where were you and why didn't you call me in April, 2008? And you're like, yeah, I wish. I didn't even know. I didn't even really tell my parents. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. I'm a child. I don't know anything yet, right? So I'm sitting here and we were like, he's like, so now that you know what's coming, this is what we believe. Now, if we're wrong, we might be, but we're not wrong, basically. He flew every financial guru from around the world in to tell us why we're not wrong, okay? But he said, the reason I brought you to Dubai is this. I wanted to show you a city that came from nothing, that was on the verge of complete collapse. He said, look, this region in the EAU, right? Their number one commodity was oil. They were running out of oil. Now, there's rich oil in different parts of the Middle East, but not in their country. And he said, so what happened was they got together in the sheikhs and they basically said, and then he took us to the sheikh's house. You call him the green sheikh. We took him to his house. We got to have dinner in his home. I have pictures of this. It's wild. And and he comes back and he says, I wanted to give you a visceral experience of what a country can go through from feeling like the worst winter they could possibly ever experience of losing their only commodity and resource, and then choosing to create the world's largest tourist destination in the Middle East, in the desert, surrounded by war. I want you to think about this. If you take pictures, go look at a picture of Dubai in 2004, 20 years ago. Go take a look at 2004 Dubai and look at 2020, 20 years later. Somebody said, you know what we're going to do? You know where this is desert in the Middle East, in the middle of war. You know what we're going to do? We are going to build the world's biggest playground. In fact, we are going to have the Guinness Book of World Record for having the most Guinness World Records, which they do now. We're going to have the tallest building. We are going to create where people from around the world are going to come to the Middle East, which at that time in the world in 2000, when they really started out this planning, this was not even a concept, right? As to what was possible when you had somebody who had that much vision, that much tenacity to go do something that most people said would be unrealistic. And I wanted to give you a visceral experience of standing in the only 7-star resort in the world in what a few years ago would have been considered a war-stricken desert wasteland. And a country that was on the verge of destitute, of dying and never being around ever again. And now is one of the wealthiest in the world because of what it did to attract people. Now, what did it do? That's right. So Michi's got in there. So look at those pictures. That's from 2005, Dubai. All right. So she just put it in the comment section. Thanks, girl. So you guys can see this. Now, this is flipping wild. Now, why? I want you to think about, what did Dubai do? Okay. It created experiences that people wanted to come enjoy. Huh. Isn't that interesting? Right? So, unfortunately, Dubai, to create the wealth that they created inside of their country, created one of the world's largest tourist attractions, created it in one place. Now, obviously, Abu Dhabi and some of the other places that they've expanded upon, for sure. So, however, one of the things that they did was they created moments and experiences, and the best of this, the best of that, the best of this, the best experiences, and all that kind of stuff. And I want you to realize, I don't care if you are sitting and I don't care if you're at war with your finances right now. I don't care if you're at war with any part of your life right now, and maybe you feel like you've been in the desert. Maybe you feel like you've been in winter. In fact, you're like, I feel like I'm in Game of Thrones right now, and winter has been coming. I feel like I've been fighting this thing off for weeks or years or whatever it is. Yes, I can totally appreciate that. But at the same time, there's not one of you that can tell me, no matter how bad or challenging your circumstance is, if you focus on the right things over the next few years, I can't promise a complete trajectory change overnight, but we can 100% put you on the trajectory to be able to have abundance inside of your life, as we have proof of these things happening. For me, it was such a punch in the face. And then when I saw winter hit, when it comes to the financial market and the collapse of the housing market in the United States, and saw the transition happen, it was such a thing. Like, I was like, holy shnikes, like, this is real life. You can create from nothing if you have the plan and you got people behind you and you get the buy-in. What we're creating here is Dubai, for us, is a destination that we get to bring people a part of our community. But really, what we get to do is we get to do what Dubai did in a location, we get to do with the world. And that's one of the things here with Viago I'm so excited about, is because we get to create and show people what true, in my opinion, wealth is, which is in the form of relationships, connections, community, and experiences. And so as you're building out your plan, we're going to help you the next 2.5 weeks to go from my dream list to my goals to my action plan to my daily method of operation, which is the pathway of science to achievement. And if we do this over these next few weeks together, you are not only going to have the plan, you're going to walk into 2025 with your head up, your chest out, your shoelaces ready to go. Whereas a lot of people will walk into 2025 and they're going to say, what's your New Year's resolution? And they're like, oh, no, I want to go more places. Right. You will have such a running head start over the rest of the world in here, because while they're recovering from their hangover, you're going to be in full sprint of creating momentum as we go into playbook. And then I will be seeing, obviously, you guys in America, but I would love to see you double playbook it this year. For those of you in North America, be there in Dallas with us and then come to Dubai. And when you come to Dubai, I have some very special things in store for you guys to experience this incredible experience that I can pull from 2008, from what happened with me at these training events, which I've never trained on, but I will be doing in Dubai this year, to be able to, I hope, give all of you that experience of what it's going to be like. So your master dream list, 100 put them down, get them out there, post them in the groups, be loud and proud about it. And then we're going to take that on the journey over these next few weeks. And of course, we're going to do more tactical training, but stay tuned. Viago Pay tutorial video going to be coming here. Get your Dubai trip booked. Make sure you guys are set up, and let's get your 6. And we'll see you guys next week. Jesse Mack signing off from somewhere in the Philippines. Okay, bye.